Good evening and welcome to the broadcast of Allen Hancock College basketball right here on athletics.hancockcollege.edu. If you're unfamiliar with Hancock College, well, let me tell you, we're based in the center of sunshine, strawberries, and tri-tip, Santa Maria, California, right here in the capital of Santa Maria's basketball, Joe White Memorial Gymnasium. Tonight's game is going to see the Hancock Bulldogs playing the Cuesta College Cougars. And this is a classic matchup. Not only is it San Luis County versus Santa Barbara County, you got two classic coaches facing off between Tyson I and Rusty Blair. Rusty Blair is royalty among 3C2A coaches. He's been coaching for 30 years at this level, at Cuesta specifically. In that time, Rusty Blair has gone 520 wins to 377 losses. Again, 30 seasons, and this is going to be a guy that's going to be talked about for a long time, and not just for his ability on the court, as he's brought many teams to playoffs, but for his unique recruiting style, his unique candor. Rusty Blair is a legendary coach among the community college ranks. Tyson I is going to be one of those guys that's going to be that point, some point in his life. Legendary already at Hancock for his flair and temper on the side of the court, his ability to get his players to do difficult things in the heat and pressure of the games. You'll see Tyson I tonight. If this is a close game, he will be fired up on the sideline. So this is definitely a classic coaching matchup. But even more than that, this is going to be a game that promises to bring a lot of excitement to the floor. Allen Hancock College coming fresh off a win over Oxnard on Saturday. No, it's not that long ago, so let me refresh your memory real quick. 100 points even to the 78 of Oxnard. But more than that, it was a very tough contested contest on the floor. It saw multiple player disqualifications due to personal fouls, technical fouls, an ejection, a chippy, hard game. But Hancock played with confidence. And that's really been the question with the Bulldogs is, can they play with confidence and win the games that their talent allows them to do so? They're a talented team, but they don't show up every night. If they're able to carry over that confidence from Oxnard without the chippiness that we saw, things could be going quite well for the Bulldogs. On the other side of the coin, looking back at the Cats, they're also playing very well. Despite not winning more than 2 games in December, November, January was extremely good for the Cuesta Cougars. They only lost a single game, coming against Ventura on the 26th, and it is a 2-point loss, 71-69. Outside of that, here's how their January went. 72-60 over SBCC. 72-40 over LA Pierce, 94-90 versus Moore Park, and a 76-75 win against those same chippy Condors that we were talking about. Only other game they've played in February was against Santa Barbara City College, finishing up their regular season series. They won that one 71-65. So you look at where Cuesta's at, they're getting hot at the right time, doing fantastic in conference play, 5-1. But they're 10-12 overall. So what is the real identity of this Cougars team? Are they going to be a team that just comes on late and really takes the world by storm? Or are they going to run to the brick wall that is Hancock College? We talked about them in a little bit. Right now, Hancock men standing at 11-8, 3-1 in conference. So not too bad themselves. Since the beginning of 2022, they've had a pretty good run. They started off with an unfortunate loss to Moore Park, 68-72, but since then have been perfect in conference play, beating Santa Barbara City College, 84-83 in a close one. Then they took on LA Pierce and took that one 70-52. But as I said, when it comes to Hancock College, it comes down to the consistency. What are we going to see out of this team? They're one of the best rebounding teams in the state, one of the best blocking teams in the state. So if it comes down to a game in the paint, expect Hancock College to come out on top. However, if Cuesta's shooting comes alive, there's no need to rebound. There's no need to get into the paint. Expect Cuesta to take this one out. So a lot is going to come down to strategy in this game and how the coaches deploy their players. So who's going to come out dominant? Will it be the perimeter players of Cuesta or the paint players for Allen Hancock College, including the likes of Amari Stroud, likely going to be going D1. Rumors have him going to Long Beach State. Going to go play down in the Pyramid in LA. You know, could he be that X factor that's going to push Hancock over the top, or is it going to be on the other side? Guys like Darrell Brooks for Cuesta, averaging 12.3 points a game, 5.8 rebounds, 3.4 assists. From Menominee Falls, Wisconsin, he has been a front runner for the best player on the Cougars. A lot at play in this game. Could be a lot going on in play for the conference championship. We'll touch a little bit more on that. Come back for pregame in just a moment. You're watching Bulldog basketball on athletics.hancockcollege.edu. Welcome back to Bulldog basketball on athletics.hancockcollege.edu. I'm Stephen Hodges. We talked a little bit about the power dynamics between these two teams. We're going to see Cuesta being the more heavily favored when it comes to floor shooting, outside the arc in particular. In the paint, probably going to be the Bulldogs, who have a large number of large players. We've got Amari Stroud, Colin Ostreich, and Noah Holland. Noah Holland had a fantastic game in his last appearance. Played quite well against the Condors, ended up getting disqualified due to personal fouls. So that's going to be a major theme this game. You look at the difference between the field goal shooting and the free throw shooting, all of that goes the side of Cuesta. Well, granted, the field goal shooting is pretty close. Hancock having a small margin in that percentage, but free throw shooting, Hancock ranks 98th, where Cuesta ranks 26th in the state. Cuesta making 71.1% of those free throws. So if you come down to the fouls, you come down to who's getting more chippy, well, Cuesta would probably be all right with a chippy game. So for Hancock, playing well in the paint while keeping the game clean is going to be vital. This is a game that was originally scheduled to be played in mid-January. Instead, we're playing it in mid-February due to the world, as you can probably look around and see. Just to highlight a few more players that are probably going to be playing big parts tonight. We haven't talked much about Bryce Craver. He's a major part of success or failure for the Bulldogs. His assist and turnover ratio really dictates whether they're going to win games. The point guard comes out and does a good job dictating who's going to end up having big nights, including Amari Stroud and Matt Solomon. Matt Solomon, that perimeter shooter for the Bulldogs, does a good job putting up the three-point shot and really can move the ball well. But when it comes down to getting the ball into the paint, look for Amari Stroud, big number 5, going to be leading the way for Hancock. For Cuesta, their point guard, Jay Gill, could be a major part of this game tonight. Averages 4.5 assists a game, and he really does a great job dishing the ball out to his primary scorers. It's going to be Darrell Brooks, and then depending on who's on the floor, Wani Dasi or Kobe Pearson. We start to get set up for this game. I'm going to see if I can find you some starting lineups. On the court for the Bulldogs tonight, we're going to be starting with Bryce Craver, Sean Kelly, Noah Holland, Matt Solomon, and Vondre Chase. For the Cougars, you're going to be looking at Jay Gill, Darrell Brooks II, Kobe Pearson, Katan Sidhu, and Wani Dasi. So really, Cuesta putting out their 5 best players to start this game. Usually a good sign. We're not having an anthem tonight, as you are watching a double feature. So if you want to catch the women, stick around. We're going to be sticking around. We hope you enjoy that as well. The women of Hancock have had a turbulent ride. Should be a very interesting game, even just to see the lineup and see how they shape up against the Cuesta women. The Cuesta women are resurgent. You look at the history of that team, they're off of a rough year. Last year they went 3-2 in their abbreviated season. Before that, the program was having an existential crisis. So we'll touch more on that as we start to turn the page towards the women later in the day. Of course, the starters for Cuesta coming on the court. Once again, Rusty Blair being introduced, 30th season. So you look at Tyson I, who has a third of that experience, and yet as much of an impact on the league. These two guys have met head-to-head, and oftentimes playoffs is on the line, as it is this year. Matt Sullen, the final Bulldog to be announced here tonight. He's been on and off the bench. He's a guy that has been in the starting lineup, has been off the starting lineup. He's one of those game time decisions by Tyson I. But I guarantee you this, when Matt Solomon's on the court, he makes an impact. So I'm much happier seeing him as a starter than coming off the bench later in the game. One name that we did talk a lot about that is not part of this starting lineup, number 5, Amari Stroud. So expect to see him come off the bench here later in the game. There on the left side, wearing the blue warm-up. So the two bigs starting here for Tyson I and the Hancock Bulldogs, Noah Holland and Sean Kelly, a formidable duo on their own right. Sean Kelly averages over 10 points a game. Noah Holland, a rebound beast. Tip-off goes, and this one will go the way of the Bulldogs. Taken out of the backcourt, that's Bryce Craver. Going to be guarded there by Katan Sadhu. Andre Chase around the outside. Chase, the victim of that big attack that caused an ejection of an Oxnard Condor just on Saturday night. Here he's going to push a little hard. He's going to take the offensive foul here. And that's going to be a turnover. You don't want to see those. I mean, not only are you depriving yourself of a possession, but you're going to end up causing yourself to get deeper into the foul territory. And Tyson, enraged by that one, saying that it was a flop, but I don't think the referees are going to hear it. So here it's going to be Jay Gill dishing it around. That's going to be to Kobe Pearson. Pearson back to Gill. Gill's going to drive the lane. He's covered by Matt Solomon. No good shot. That's going to go off the backboard the other way. Solomon's got the rebound. Matt Solomon taking his time, looking for Bryce Craver. Bryce taking his time to get back up to the top of the paint. Now at center court, Bryce to Vondre Chase. Down to Matt Solomon in that corner. We've seen him pull up from there. He's a dangerous player. He's going to pull up here from the wing. That one's good from distance. Matt Solomon for 3 to open up the scoring in this game about 1 minute in. Crossing midcourt is Darrell Brooks. We talk about the big scores of the different teams. Darrell Brooks, the leading scorer for the Cougars. This one put up by Kobe Pearson. The rebound goes to Vondre Chase. Vondre, 8.5 points per game, 4 rebounds. Major part of this team. Bryce Craver gives it back to him. Craver down to Solomon. Immediately guarded there by Pearson, who didn't want to give that up. Here, Vondre Chase from the corner, off the rim. Noah Holland with the rebound. Noah pressing in, gets it up from the post. 2-point basket. It's going to make it 5-0 Bulldogs here early, 2 minutes into this game. Darrell Brooks gives it to Jay Gill. Gill to Pearson. Gill for 3. Drains it. That's going to cut into this early lead for the Bulldogs. Bryce Craver, the decision maker for the Dogs. Finds Vondre Chase on the corner. Down to Matt Solomon along the baseline. He's going to take it and reset the play. Chase to Craver. Finds his man in the post, and this is going to be a shot for 2. Foul is going to be assessed on Kobe Pearson. Their first foul. This will be 2. On the line to shoot the 2, Sean Kelly. Kelly made a great play to drive to the post. Craver found him there, just drew the foul. Hopefully he can drain both of these. Makes the first one. One of the areas that Sean Kelly could probably work on is his free throw shooting. Only shooting 48%. But making the first one here, trying to find that water, water finds its level. See if we can get it up a little bit. Makes the second. 7-3 Dogs as the Cats now take it. Brooks to Gill, back to Brooks. Went down, found Dossie, but it's going to be Gill now. Gill, quite a ways to go to get to the post. Seen the range on his shot, but not where you want to be pulling up from, as the Bulldogs defending the paint well here. And it's going to be Brooks driving on Craver, but he has enough gain to Gill. Gill guarded by Vondre Chase. Puts that one up. It's off the back of the rim and the other way. Matt Solomon's got a free lane. Passes it off to Craver. Craver back to Sean Kelly. Out to Matt Solomon. Solomon's going to be out outside the three-point line. Finds Craver with a chest pass. And it'll be Vondre Chase dishing this back out to Craver. Craver drives the lane, puts it up off the rim, going the other way. Sadu with the rebound. It's going to be Brooks driving the line on Holland, but Holland turns him away. Basket put up for three. That is Wani Dassey with the three-pointer. Dassey doesn't put him up frequently and is only shooting 38% from beyond the arch, but puts that one in with ease. Vondre Chase back to Craver. Finds Holland alone in the paint. Holland takes a little too long. Ends up getting guarded by Sadu. And Dassey. Going to be a turnover. You look at where these players are from, and for Hancock, it's a typical mixture of American players from all over the place. Some local, some from far away. For Cuesta, it's always a fun game of trying to find it on a map. As Vondre Chase puts this one up. Noah Holland picks it up, puts up the second shot, and draws the foul. And go through the history of what Rusty Blair's done as both coach and player. He played in Belgium for a long time as he was coming up the ranks as a basketball player. As a result, met his wife there, has deep roots in Europe, and you get players coming in from places like Zurich, Switzerland, such as, Moritz Schneider, who grew up in Zurich, Switzerland, went to school just across the border there, Montessori Zentrum Angel in Deutschland, also known as Germany here in the States. As Noah Holland missed that first shot, and we had a couple subs. Now we're in the game. Amari Stroud, as I said, coming off the bench. Keep an eye on him. Big number 5, major player for the Bulldogs. As Holland sinks the second one. It's like Nico Thomas coming in for Vondre Chase. On the other side, it was local product, Logan Knuckles from the far-off reaches of Atascadero, California. Entering the game for the Cougars. It's going to be Brooks outside the arc. Going to try and cross up Amari Stroud. Stroud had none of that. Had to force the ball off, but for the long two, and they're actually going to score that as a 3. Kadon Sadu putting that one up from distance. It's going to make a Cuesta lead 9-8 now with quite a ways to play. 16 minutes in the first half. Matt Solomon from the corner. Count that one, and count the great pass from Bryce Craver. Fantastic feed from Bryce Craver all the way to the corner. Finds Solomon, who only took a moment to put that one up. Regains a 2-point lead for the Bulldogs, 11-9. So it's going to be Gill finding Brooks. Brooks has been silent so far in this game. He's going to need to heat up if the Cougars want to stay in it. It's Gill going to take it along the perimeter. Finds Knuckles. Going to pass from Knuckles to Sadu. Down to Dassey. Brooks finds Knuckles. Knuckles puts it up off the rim. He gets rejected. He's not a prolific scorer, Logan Knuckles. Only 3 points per game. Matt Solomon from the corner needs some help. He finds it with Craver. Craver dribbling along the top of the arch, and this is going to be another quick pass and another quick shot. It is so hard to defend when a player can put up the ball that quickly and a player can dish it that quickly. Craver and Solomon have been a fantastic combo all year for that. Solomon puts up another quick 3 off the pass of Bryce Craver. Maybe Jay Gill driving the paint. Off a foot of a Cougar. Going to be picked back up by Gill. No turnover. This is going to be passed to Brooks from the top of the paint. And just off the back of the rim. The shot's not landing for Cuesta so far in this game. This can be Nico Thomas driving the lane. He's not going to catch any rim, not going to catch anything. It's going to reset back out to Bryce Craver. 28 seconds on the shot clock for Sean Kelly as Nico did not get the shot clock reset. Bryce taking his time. He's got Nico Thomas coming up to his right, but he's going to dish it down to the corner again. Caught, shot, sunk. Matt Solomon making the promises and keeping them. 9 straight for the young Bulldog. 17-9 the score, and a timeout on the floor. It's a full timeout. I'm going to take a quick moment and thank our sponsors, Cool Hand Loops, right across the freeway from us. Thank you for making athletics at Hancock College possible. While we got a full timeout, we'll take a timeout as well. We'll be right back. You're listening to athletics.hancockcollege.edu. Welcome back to athletics.hancockcollege.edu. My name's Stephen Hodges. If you're just joining us, the Bulldogs are up early, 17-9 over the Cougars in this rivalry of the Western State Conference North. Jay Gill's going to take his time picking this one up. Jeffjeet Gill comes to us from Union City, California, Newark High School out there. He's got a few different players at Cuesta from Union City, California. Earl Brooks going to drive this lane. He's got a chance, but turns it away. Goes back to Jay Gill. Gill going to pass it out. This gentleman came in from the timeout. It is Magna. Jay Gill puts up the close jumper, and that one's going to sink off the glass. I don't think he initially wanted to put it there, but found a shooting solution to get the 2. Makes it 17-11, 6-point lead for the Dogs. Vondre Chase drives on Gill, loses his footing. He's going to have to dish this one off. Finds Nico Thomas. And there's going to be a tee issued in this game. That's going to be on Jay Gill. And this one is going to be heavily argued, as you expect Cuesta to do. Rusty Blair, famous for his temperament, but an immediate quick tee against the Cougars. I think that word travels fast in these herds, and there's going to be another one issued at the 24. This one's going to be going both ways. So Vondre Chase is going to get one, and Jay Gill's going to get one. So double tees issued, trying to keep law and order on the court here early. But I tell you what, it's always a bad look when you start arguing the call to the referee. Even if you're right, Jay Gill probably wants to get back to the huddle and talk to his coach about it instead. Coaches can argue calls. Players, you will lose that argument and get another tee more often than not. And all the referees on the court right now are trying to keep this contained. And we heard this on the floor. I was running public address on Saturday. It's not about finding who's right and wrong. It's trying to get things back under control. And that failed in the game on Saturday with the Condors. And they're trying to make sure here against the Cougars that these referees stay on top of things and nothing gets out of hand. So, quick slip, some words said, some things done, a lot of regrets, and play goes on. No shots going to be assessed for either team. Re-entering the game is going to be Bryce Craver. He's going to be bringing out Vondre Chase, who just had the tee issued to him. So, Nico Thomas, Aaron Moore, Bryce Craver, Amari Stroud, and Matt Solomon, the Dogs on the court now. Craver's got some room. He's going to take a quick step, toss it out to Nico. Thomas tosses this one up. It's going to be Aaron Moore. Off the rim, it finds Bryce Craver, who puts it back for 2. Aerial acrobatics by Bryce Craver. Normally not the one to drive the paint, but finds the room there. And it's a Magna driving the paint and getting blocked. The Bulldogs rank 7th in the state in blocks per game, 4.9. So expect more of that as this game goes on. it's easy to tell what percentile you're in when you talk about ranking in the states. There's about 100 3C two-way schools, so they're in the top 7% of all teams when it comes to blocking shots. Out on the edge, it's Brooks versus Stroud. Brooks finds the open room and drives the rim, but does not get it to sink. The putback attempt by Sadu goes wrong, so it's going to be Stroud the other way. He puts one up. This one picked up by Aaron Moore, who puts it back for 2. Bulldogs lead by 10, 21-11, and it's a 30-second timeout, Cuesta. Hancock College would like to take this timeout, thanks to some of our corporate sponsors. Oxford Suites, Home Motor Chevrolet. Thank you for making athletics at Hancock College possible. We'll take a quick timeout with them, and we'll be right back on athletics.hancockcollege.edu. Welcome back to the Land and Strawberries and Tri-Tip. This is Santa Maria Joe White Memorial Gymnasium. I'm Stephen Hodges, and this is Bulldogs basketball on athletics.hancockcollege.edu. If you're just joining us, the Bulldogs lead the Cougars 21-11 in a proximity rivalry. It's the only team in San Luis Obispo County that participates in 3C2A action versus one of 2 Santa Barbara County teams. For Hancock, it's kind of a 50-50 if you want to consider Santa Barbara or Cuesta more proximity rival. But for Cuesta, it's dead set in their minds. It's only Hancock. So Wani Dasi had it swiped by Stroud. Stroud still struggling with it, but he's going to come up with it and give it off to Craver. That's a clean steal for the Bulldogs. Neither team really known for their stealing prowess, but there we saw a great one from Amari. Nico Thomas puts up the shot. It drops down, and this is going to be a foul on looked like it's on Nico Thomas. Offensive foul, moving screen, so going to go the other way. That point will not count, despite a strong effort. So back the other way goes Cuesta with the ball to Ramon Amagna. He comes from Charleroi, Belgium, but here comes Amari Stroud dropping down the hammer the other way. They are not having luck pushing on him. Darrell Brooks had one good drive. Since then, Stroud has swiped that ball away time and time again. If I'm Cuesta, I'm going to the opposite side of the floor any chance I get. This one's going to be put up from distance by Isaac Puz. Getting that ball back, it's Amagna, who's going to drive on Stroud and then send it back out. And it's going to be put up by number 31. That's Wani Dasi. But Amari Stroud gets that ball. He's an amazing presence when he's on the floor. He's just got to find a way to make that push happen and stay out on the floor. And it's Amari Stroud finding Noah Holland, that Rathdrum, Idaho native. And there's going to be a foul on this one. It's going to go against Wani Dasi, product of Marcos Juarez, Argentina, part of the Cordoba province. That's indeed on 31, Wani Dasi. Marcos Juarez, a lot of similarities between Cordoba, Argentina, and the Central Coast. Very similar climates, very similar wine producing, both kind of on the side of mountains. I mean, it's really fascinating to see how similar those two climates are when you throw a needle on the map and find a very similar area. And this will be a travel by Bryce Craver. Going to be a turnover, just a touch a little bit more on Marcos Juarez. It's about the same size as San Luis Obispo. It's about the same distance from the mountains. It's remarkable that he was able to find an area so similar to his hometown so far away. Completely different hemisphere. It's going to be Darrell Brooks crossing midcourt. He's going to pass it over to Isaac Puz. Puz from McKinleyville, California. Like I said, good geography lesson anytime you study Cuesta's roster hometowns. This drive is going to be Schneider. Going to pass it off. Now is Isaac Puz putting it up. Back to Brooks. Brooks finding Schneider again. And then Schneider finding Brooks again. Put up from distance, it's Puz. Rebound going to go to the way of the Bulldogs. That's Sean Kelly with the rebound. Major force for the Bulldogs in that department. 7.7 rebounds per game. A little bit of a soft fall there by Puz, but Sean Kelly, no foul on Puz. That one off the rim, back the other way. Darrell Brooks getting the rebound. He's going to find Sadhu. Sadhu dribbles, tosses it back out to the side to Schneider. Amagna going to cross up Holland, but then end up putting it back out to the outside, or Brooks puts it up off the rim. Cuesta not shooting well so far in this game. We said it was one of the keys for them to have success, as Hancock, historically a strong rebounding school, rebounding well here, as Matt Solomon puts up a shot that requires no rebound. Another 2 points for number 23, who's been fantastic in this game, already in double-digit points. Darrell Brooks gonna drive under the rim, get the little reach around put back. Now from the corner, he's not getting anything to fall tonight. Darrell Brooks, a major force for the Cougars, and he can't find it. As this one goes out of bounds, passed by Sean Kelly, but off the hands of Vondre Chase. And for the Bulldogs comes Rajon Bellew. For the Cougars, it's going to be Jay Gill and Kobe Pearson. Sadhu with the inbound. Sadhu from Seattle, Washington. Came from Winchendon School, Massachusetts, the same school that Darrell Brooks comes from, despite Brooks coming from Wisconsin. Jay Gill finds it, dishes it over to Kobe Pearson. Gonna be a Magna, tossing it to Schneider. Schneider finds Sadhu. Sadhu trying to find some room, doesn't find it, gives it back. And that's gonna be too many steps. Schneider punches his tickets and gets the travel booked. And in for the Bulldogs returns Amari Stroud. Gonna sub out Sean Kelly. So one big rebounder for another. And right now they're cycling the responsibilities of the players. Tyson I barking out the numbers that he wants the players to operate at as the inbound moves from the backcourt or the baseline to the side court. Still in the backcourt though, and it's gonna be Vondre Chase bringing it to the front court. It's got Noah Holland coming up top of the key, along with Amari Stroud. It's gonna be Stroud that's gonna try and run it in off the rim, but I doubt that shot would have counted anyway. It's Magna with the personal foul, his first personal, 15. So we're looking to get into the bonus territory here soon, but relatively low number of fouls in this game so far as Stroud puts one up off the rim. Holland with the rebound. Holland looking to put it back. Holland blocked, but a foul on the shot. Holland's going to have two. This one I think is on Sadhu. Oh no, 33 was Sina. Magna, the Charleroi Belgium product, getting his second already. So Hancock now having Holland on the line, but more importantly, you look at those fouls, 6 on there. Next time they get fouled, they're going to be in the single bonus. Holland with the first one off the back, not a noted free throw shooter. He only shoots at about 53%. That average bumping down right now. Holland makes the second one drop. It's going to be Sadhu on the inbound for the Cougars. He finds Jay Gill. Gill's got some options, but it's going to come down to ball handling to get to the front court. A strong full court press happening for the Bulldogs is Chase making sure the referees see his hands as he gets a little physical there with Sadhu. Noah Holland all the way outside of the arc. Really interesting to see the big man all the way out there. He's still defending beyond the arc. So is Amari Stroud. Both the big guys out beyond the arc on defense. As another foul going to happen. We had a good stretch there without whistles. Rajon Bellew picking up the foul here. His first personal. Rajon Bellew hasn't seen the court a whole lot this season. He's been a bit of a role player, but he brings the energy every time he's out there. Here picking up a foul. It's going to be Sadhu with the inbound. He looks off the Magna and finds Gill. Gill almost had a backcourt situation there, but saved his feet just short of it. And Gill gets the rebound here, tosses it back out. It's Schneider from distance, but off the rim again, and again it's going to Stroud. Cuesta's got to find a way to make these shots drop if they want to get back in this game. Really struggling with their shooting here tonight. It's going to be Chase on the drive, off the rim, but it's going to be Holland with the rebound, puts it back up with a little sky hook, That one rails right on in. Bulldogs 28, Cougars 11. A big gap of 17 points, and we're going to have another foul. This is off the ball. You can't have that. And referee looking to make sure everyone's down. Illegal hit on the offense. Magna picking that one up. He's already got his third foul. Entering the game, Sean Kelly for the Bulldogs, exiting Vondre Chase, who's been playing well. Now entering Bryce Craver, and he's going to be taking out Rajon Bellew. Rajon a little bit confused, but not to be confused with Raging Bellew. That's going to be a little bit later if he gets a little more fired up. With the inbound, it's Sean Kelly. And a lot of discussions going on between the players here. We are hoping for a clean game after the Oxnard Condors game where we had a lot of discussions, paperwork being filed. I tell you what, the number one thing that keeps a referee from issuing a technical is the paperwork. Is it easier for me to shut you up or do the paperwork later? And a lot of times the answer is the paperwork, and they try to talk people down. It's something that referees don't get enough credit for is their diplomacy, as we're seeing it on display here between Coach Tyson I and Coach Rusty Blair. Set of stripes between them, relaying messaging back and forth, and the referees just trying to make sure both coaches know, hey, I saw something out there I don't want to see again. You need to talk to your players. They don't listen to me. They'll listen to you, and I will issue a technical in the future and do the requisite paperwork. This is going to be Bryce Craver dribbling from beyond the arc. He's going to find a spot near the key, passes it back out to Matt Solomon. Solomon voting not to shoot there, gets it to Holland, who will take the shot. It's off the back of the iron and into the hands of Jay Gill. Cuesta starting to equal out that rebound margin a little bit, but very gradually, as it's going to be Sadu giving it back to Gill. Gill finds his man on the outside. It's Schneider. Schneider going to go back to Sadu. Sadu doing his kind of trademark low ball move, but hasn't been generating him a lot of space tonight, as it's Gill from distance. No, Stroud has the rebound, out of bounds. Ball is going to go back to the Cougars. You know, you see those low swinging movements from Sadu. He's really just trying to make the defender commit, and it's been a great compliment to Craver. Stroud, Solomon, all the people that have been out on that boundary defending Gill and Sadu, that they have not been biting on that. There's not been a lot of good drivable lanes for the Cougars in this game. It's going to be Brooks doing exactly that, driving the lane, but deciding not to put up the basket. And Sadu from distance, off the inside of the iron and out, off the backboard and into the hands of Bryce Craver. He's going to take it to the other way. Matt Solomon from the outside. We've seen the quick trigger finger on him. It's back in the hands of Craver, but I would tighten that coverage on Solomon if I were on their team. Stroud puts it up off the rim into the hands of Holland. Holland gets the foul and back to the line goes the Rathdrum, Idaho native, who's been making himself known in this game. Big, solid presence. Kanan Sadu gets his first personal, and the Bulldogs are firmly in the bonus, but this is going to be 2 for Noah Holland. Classical Christian Academy, the high school that Holland went to. He averages 6.9 points per game, 3.9 rebounds, but it feels like more than that. I might be working with old information on this spreadsheet now that I think about it, but he's really been a force in the paint for the Bulldogs. Whether he's getting the rebound, finding someone else, walling people away, he's been very effective on and off the ball as he subs out, bringing in, that's going to be Nico Thomas and Aaron Moore for the Bulldogs entering in. It's Matt Solomon and Noah Holland take a seat. Well-deserved. Jay Gill going to be trying to dribble on Sean Kelly here. Kelly having none of it. Kelly getting aggressive at the end of that, too. Be Brooks on the outside. No room there. Logan Knuckles tossing it over to Schneider. Back to Gill. Gill finding a little bit of room, but nothing. Craver, very active outside. Gill puts up a long 3. Well defended by Craver, but the ball's going to go back to Sadu, who's going to rebound it. This going to Schneider. Schneider puts it up. Gets his own rebound, puts it up again. That one will sink. And it'll shrink the margin a little bit, 13-30, 17-point difference between these two teams with 5 to go in the first half. Craver gonna find Sean Kelly. Kelly trying to make the little plays happen. Find those little creases in this Cuesta defense as they're double teaming Amari Stroud pretty heavily. There's something open, just got to find it. But Stroud, even through the double team, puts it up, finds another 2 points. Major lead here early for the Bulldogs, 18 points. It's 32-13. Darrell Brooks trying to find the lanes. They're not there. Going to be another whistle off the ball. This is those things that happen in these very physical games. Looks like Cuesta's going to keep it. Foul's going to be on Nico Thomas, on Logan Knuckles drawing that one. And those are the types of fouls, you talk about, hey, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. Because there's certain fouls that will happen naturally with effort. Hey, I accidentally caught this guy going for the block, something like that. But when it's an off-ball foul like that, you don't want to see that. Logan Knuckles drives and is blocked. Aaron Moore gets his hands up in there, tells Logan Knuckles, no. As Moore is down in his own post, but steps out of bounds. Possession, Cuesta. But an amazing block there by Aaron Moore to set up that possession. Unfortunately, no points come of it. Cuesta is going to reset and try to not embarrass themselves on this drive. It's Jay Gill to Darrell Brooks. 2 great shooters. We've seen them do fantastic things on this court. They've been invited to many tournaments. I know that this Cuesta team's capable of putting the ball away quite well. Just haven't seen it yet in this game. This is going to be Jay Gill from distance, looking for Maurice Snyder. Snyder going to head towards the key, finds Darrell Brooks, and then turns it over. Possession Bulldogs. Amari Stroud's going to have the inbound here. And the way that's going right now, until Cuesta starts burying some of these shots, Hancock can kind of go into autopilot mode. Cycle the guys through, just make sure that you're keeping good effort out there. The top of the key, it was Aaron Moore and Amari Stroud. Stroud puts it up from distance. I believe they only counted that as a 2. Long 2 for Amari Stroud. This Cuesta trying to find those easy shots. They haven't had them yet as Brooks drives the lane and gets an easy shot, but it doesn't fall. Just inches off. That's the difference in this game. It's not a huge deficit if they get some of these shots that they've had available to fall, and it's just been a tiny bit off as Ben Lincoln entering in for Darrell Brooks. Darrell Brooks, a major force for the Cougars, puts up 12 points per game. Just not making it happen so far. Ben Lincoln, on the other hand, from Melbourne, Australia, another Southern Hemisphere product. Donvale Christian, his academy, averages 1.4 points a game. So you talk about the difference in what you see in an average game between those two players. Darrell Brooks, a much bigger factor typically. This will be Bryce Craver carrying the ball over. Sean Kelly looks off the defense and gives it to Craver. To Matt Solomon, catch, throw, off the rim this time. But how many times have we seen that go in? At least 3 times in a row earlier in this half. How quick that pass, catch, shoot combo goes off. You got to guard him closely. Is this going to be the Melbourne Australian? Ben Lincoln putting it up from just outside the key. That one sinks. Wasn't pretty, but it worked. And that's what the Cougars need. They need that dirty kind of play that's not beautiful to look at. Not going to go on any highlight reels, but gets the points on the board as it cuts it to a 20-point lead for the Bulldogs. Amari Stroud down at the bottom of the key. Going to put this one up off the glass. Picked up by the Bulldogs and saved by Sean Kelly. Matt Solomon driving. Can't find the lane. Going to turn around and shoot it from distance. This one rebounded by Schneider for the Cougars. Gill going to cross it over to Sadhu. Sadhu to the corner. Ben Lincoln off the rim. And Matt Solomon gets the rebound. A little bit of extra knuckle work by Logan Knuckles, but nothing coming of it. And Amari Stroud up, touches the rim. Don't need a dunk here. Got too much style. It's what cool guys do. They walk away from the explosion, just as Amari Stroud did there. Could have been a dunk, decided against it. It's Jay Gill outside the arch, looking for that room. He's got it this time. A good drive, but no shot, and he's going to reset it. Going to go to Schneider. Schneider sets it up for Sadhu at the top. But it's going to be Jay Gill on the wing, loses the ball, luckily right to the hands of Sadhu. Sadhu has a lane on Stroud, puts it up, sinks it, gets the and one. This one's going to most likely be against Amari Stroud. Score the goal, and number 5 picking up his first foul of the game. Now entering for the Cuesta Cougars, Kobe Pearson. for the Bulldogs, Noah Holland re-entering. Taking his seat, Aaron Moore. Aaron Moore had that fantastic block. Fortunately, just stepped just a little bit out of bounds the other way. Could have had an easy thing. Sadhu puts it in, gets that and one. A fantastic free throw shooter is Sadhu. Shoots over 70%. They're bumping that average up just a little bit. As it's going to be Bryce Craver crossing center court. Finds Amari Stroud up at the top. Sean Kelly from the corner. Off the rim, but Stroud gets the rebound, puts it back. Count it. 39-18, 21-point lead for the Dogs with only about a minute left. Ben Lincoln gonna pass off to Gill. Finds his man all alone down by the post as Maurice Schneider putting up the two. Bryce Craver crossing half court. 55 left. Matt Solomon double teamed in the corner. Finds the reverse Stroud, and again, the gentleman's dunk. I'm gonna get vertical, get high, just get the two. Don't need to grab the rim. Cool guys walk away from explosions. Jay Gill gets over to Lincoln. Lincoln puts it up off the front of the rim, and it's gonna be Bryce Craver getting it. The calls of no shot coming from the bench. Celebration and jubilation coming from the Bulldogs as this has been a fantastic first half against their perpetual rival, Cuesta Cougars. Solomon finds Stroud again. This one less gentlemanly and worth less as that one's not going to sink, but gets the foul on the way up. Sadhu picking up the foul, his second personal, 9th team foul. 19 seconds left, and really the fouls seem low in this game so far, but really it's been a chippy half between the two teams. It's Amari Stroud taking these free throws. Makes the first. Now entering for the Dogs, Nico Thomas, subbing out Matt Solomon for the last 19 seconds here. Getting a little bit more girth out there and a little bit stronger wall to prevent Cuesta from coming back with a quick score is my guess. Stroud puts up the second one, buries them both. Sadhu inbounding to Jay Gill. Gill taking his time. It's going to be a full court press from the Dogs. The Dogs packing up and looking to feast. Pearson back to Sadhu. A lot of long-range shooters on the court for the Cougars, but Gill's not going to take the long-range shot. He's going to try and force his way in the key. Gets the shot up, gets it to sink, and that's going to be a foul on Sean Kelly. Jay Gill showing what he's capable of. We've seen him do this quite a bit through the tournaments that have been played here. He's a fantastic player. It's just taking a little bit of time to break through. And they're hoping that they can start to get this momentum churning, build up into the second half. With 1 second left, Jay Gill's got the and one. Shots up and in. So with 1 second left, Bulldogs will just inbound this, and that will be it for the first half of action here in Joe White Memorial Gymnasium. Score is 43-23, favor of the Dogs. We'll be right back with some halftime stats. You're watching Bulldog Basketball on athletics.hancockcollege.edu. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Bulldog Basketball and Athletics.hancockcollege.edu. If you're just joining us, we're at halftime. The people on the right of the court, that's the women's team for Cuesta College. If you want to see what they look like in full-on action, hang out for a while. We're going to be having a double header here tonight as we're in the middle of the men's game, but the women's game will be tipping off shortly afterwards. So we hope that you're able to join us for both. Meanwhile, focusing back on this game, you want to know the difference between these two teams? Well, I think there's a couple stats that can sum it up pretty quickly on the team level. Field goal percentage for the Bulldogs, 48.4%. Pretty good. Pretty good. You know, that for them, that's just a little bit above average. Well below average are the Cuesta Cougars, making only about a quarter of their shots, 25.7%. It's a little absurd comparing the field goal percentage because 9 of 35 for the Cougars, 15 to 31. So the Cougars putting up the ball more often, but the Bulldogs sinking it more often. And you compare that goes even further. A lot of this is shot selection by the players. And I'm not sure if this is something that Coach Blair is going to be talking to them about, but more than half of their shooting attempts coming from beyond the arc. 18 of those 35 shots were shot from three-point range. 3 of those 18 shots went in, good for 16.7%. The other stat I want to turn your attention to, rebounds. What goes up must come down, and when it's not going in the net, where's it going? Mostly into the Bulldogs' hands. 28 rebounds for the Dogs, 13 for the Cats. So that should be pretty clear indication. When the Cougars are shooting, not necessarily going in and going into the hands of the Bulldogs when it doesn't go in. So with that all said, let's take a look at some individual stats, see who's leading each team. For Cuesta, the leading scorer right now, Jay Gill, the point guard. He's got 8 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Sadhu also having a pretty decent game so far, 6 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. Moving over to the Bulldogs. Pretty clear delineation. Some of the big names you're familiar with. Amari Stroud, leading scorer for the Dogs, 15 points, 5 rebounds. Matt Solomon, 14 points, including 9 of those coming back-to-back-to-back straight shots off of Bryce Craver assists. Some fantastic passing there by number 1, who currently sits with 3 assists and 6 rebounds himself. Noah Holland also doing pretty well. 8 points, 7 rebounds. Well on his way to a double-double is number 22 from Rathdrum, Idaho. So you can take a look at those stats. You know, if I were a mechanic and I was telling you what was going on with this car, well, got a pretty clear flat tire for Cuesta. It's going to be a question of, can they get to the side of the road and change that out in time for the second half? Because if they're not able to get these shots to sink, it's a pretty far gone conclusion what's going to go on. It's going to continue being the same beat, same drummer, as the Bulldogs have beat that drum to the tune of 43-23 here at halftime. We hope you hang out. We'll be back in just a few more minutes here on athletics.hancockcollege.edu. I'm Stephen Hodges. This is Bulldog Basketball. Welcome back to Bulldog Basketball and Athletics.HancockCollege.edu. We're getting ready for the second half of action here in Joe White Memorial Gymnasium in Santa Maria, California, the home of sunshine, strawberries, and tri-tip. I'm Stephen Hodges. If you've just joined us, this is a great time to come back as the Cougars are going to try and find a way to retool what they did in the first half. First half, I think they had some pretty good ball control on an individual level, but on a team level, they weren't able to open that up into shooting lanes or the ability to really score the ball as they put up only about a handful of balls inside the paint. I mean, I can't see how many shots were within the paint, but a lot of shots from outside the paint. Half the field goals from three-point range. So you look at what's been going on between these two teams. I mean, it's going to be a question of, can the Cougars find that magic that led them to be 5-1 in conference coming into this game, or are they just going to accept their fate going to 5-2? Meanwhile, for the Bulldogs, they still only have one lone conference loss. They're looking pretty good. How are they going to continue that kind of momentum without pushing too hard and getting into foul trouble? We've already seen some technicals assessed earlier in this game. It's a chippy, tough game. They've got to find a way to play without allowing Cuesta to get underneath their skin. So for the Bulldogs, they got to find a way to be confident without being cocky. Cuesta, they just got to find a way to play with that initial confidence. They got to get those shots to drop somehow, some way. So the teams, once again, meeting back at their benches, and we're going to be coming back to action here momentarily. So you're about coming back to action here. Reminder, we are in the middle of a doubleheader game, so stick around for the women's game as we're going to be seeing the tough-as-nails Carrie Norelli team come out. And, you know, you talk about who's going to be playing. It's a little unclear who's in protocol, who's not from my vantage point right now. But the Bulldogs always find a way to perform under Coach Carrie Norelli. He's had wins with four players on the court before. He's played with, you know, just absolute injuries and toughness. I mean, you look at the 2019 team that went to playoffs, they only had 6 players at the end of that run, one of which was playing with a broken back. She couldn't physically sit on the bus. You can't teach toughness, but Coach Norelli finds it in all of his players and pulls it out. So we're not sure who's going to be on the court necessarily tonight, but I guarantee you it's going to be one to watch. This is going to be Sadhu coming in to inbound the ball for the Cougars as the Slow County team going to try and find their way back into this one. Going to be Jay Gill dribbling. I always say Slow County because they are not actually in the city of San Luis Obispo. And you got to go quite a ways out of town. They're closer to Morro Bay in a lot of ways when you talk about geography for Cuesta College. As it's going to be Gill feeding it into Dossie. Dossie puts this one up. Going to go off the rim. Same story as first half. Shots not dropping as it's Bryce Craver finding Noah Holland. Noah Holland up and off the back. A lot of excitement for it just to fall flat. I think the lesson for the Bulldogs when it comes to dunking tonight, just don't do it. Just do the gentleman's, put it into the basket. Gently, don't touch the rim. It's been rejecting you all night. It's firm steel and a hard judge. As the Cougars going to be dishing it. It's Pearson over to Dossie. And it's going to be Gill driving the lane, but pushing it back out. Long shot here by Pearson. And it's going to be Holland fighting Brooks for it. Brooks wins the battle and gets it in and gets the basket to drop. The smaller Brooks showing a lot of heart on that play. Hauling the ball away from Noah Holland. Basket counts and Holland takes the foul. Brooks going to be back on the line for the and one. Cougars going to be subbing out. Out goes Dossie. In comes Schneider. Schneider had a decent second half. Didn't have a lot of show for it on the scoreboard, but helped move the ball well. And that was really the struggle for the first half of the first half. And Cougars just couldn't find lanes to move the ball. So Sean Kelly inbounding to Bryce Craver. Craver going to cross court. And he's challenged by Gill. Gill bounces off of Craver into Holland. That could not have been comfortable. And the ball's floated kind of out of bounds, and it's going to be setting up gone off Brooks. There's about 4 different players got fingers on it, but not a whole grasp. Subbing into the game now is Amari Stroud, coming off the bench, but one of the top scorers for the Dogs tonight. He's coming in for Sean Kelly. Stroud setting the play. Player at each corner of the key. It's going to be Craver up top, getting the ball. Back to Stroud, who's down near the baseline. He's going to drive the lane and get that up and get it to fall. That's what makes him so hard to control. He's a good shooter, uses his length well, and really can make some things happen in the paint. D1 written all over. Not uncommon for players here at Hancock College, as it's going to be an air ball that's going to bounce out of bounds. Possession stays with the Cougars, though. It's Sadu putting that one up. Missed the front of the rim, and that just rolled its way on out of bounds, but off the dog first, and this is going to be Cat's ball. With the inbound, it's going to be Sadu. Sadu going to give it to Gill. Gill guarded by Craver. Craver has not given up a lot of lanes tonight, as it's going to be Sadu and Stroud on Stroud there, and Stroud slips off and guards Gill. Brooks trying to make his way against the Dogs, and he's going to have to dish this one out to the corner, and that's off the rim. And 3 points have not been good news for the Cougars so far. They're probably shooting near 10% now. It's going to be Vondre Chase in the corner there, bringing it all the way back up near center court. Solomon near the wing. He's going to drive in, gets the wing, and gives it back to Chase. Chase with a long three off the front of the rim, but Craver gets the rebound to Solomon. Solomon with some range, and that's off the rim once again. And there's some extra action down here. Kobe Pearson got into it with Noah Holland. Noah Holland not happy with that. Let him know what was going on a second afterwards. Referee's getting in control of the situation, though. This is indeed going to be a foul on Kobe Pearson. Surprised that there's not anything more with that, as Logan Knuckles is going to be coming in inevitably for Pearson. Just took his second personal foul, first of the second half. But you have a foul like that off the ball's going the opposite direction. There's nothing to be gained for it, and you're just going to get a normal personal foul from that? I'm a little surprised. Bryce Craver puts it up from inside the key. Off the rim, Darrell Brooks getting this. Brooks, a big-time player, needs to come up in a big-time moment for the Cougars. He gets it to Gill. Gill controlling and try and go up against Bryce Craver. Craver turns him away, gets it over to Brooks, though, to continue the play. Brooks going to have to reset. Gets it up top to Schneider. Schneider still not able to find that lane. And it's going to be Sadu feeding into Knuckles, and there's a foul. Waiting to see what was reported here. Nothing on the scoreboard. They saying it was out of bounds? Playing a little duck, duck, goose? I missed something here. As it's going to be inbounded by Sadu. And back to his hands, and it's going to be out of the corner. Matt Solomon picks up the rebound, going to charge the other way. Leading the Dogs, gets it to Vondre Chase. Chase with a blind pass back to Solomon. Solomon from the free throw line, off the rim. Not great shooting here in this second half, but Stroud's going to get this offensive rebound. Feeds it back to Craver. Solomon all alone. And there he goes. Wisdom of Solomon finds the ball to the net. Another three-pointer fed by Bryce Craver. It's going to be Schneider. Down near the key, getting it back to Brooks. From the free throw line, that one's off the rim. And this is going the other way. Bulldog ball as no one touches it. You know, you hate to put a lot of blame on any one player when you have a team failing in shooting such as this, but I'd like to see Brooks lead the charge for these Cougars. He's the guy that normally is able to get this done, so he's just got to find a way out of this funk. He's a little bit on the schneid. Just bump off the schneid. Get some of those high-confidence shots. It's going to be Stroud at the bottom of the key, looking to drive the post. Gets his arm up, gets the shot, but offensive foul. This is going Cougars' way. As Sadu draws the charge. Or excuse me, Gill drew the charge. So, second foul there for Mari Stroud. Second of the second half as well for the Bulldogs. Quite away from bonus as we're 16:03 left to play. 48-26 the score. Brooks to Gill. Jay Gill once again returns the favor to Brooks, who's going to be up by the corner of the arch. And here we go. Brooks trying to find that lane, but he's covered by Noah Holland. Holland repels the attack and gets it back to Gill. Gill's going to drive the lane, though. He gets under the basket, but returns it back to Brooks. Brooks with a pass to the point, and it's going to be stolen by Vondre Chase. Chase, 2-on-2, And he just rolls it to the rim, and it's off the backboard, back out, and it's going the other way. Sadu with the rebound. Gets it to Jay Gill. Gill to the corner to Brooks. Puts it up. Off the inside of the rim. Out. And this is going to be Cougar ball. Off the hand of Bryce Craver. Nico Thomas entering. Thomas subbing in for Bryce Craver. Going to go get a breather. Well earned. He's been moving the ball well. A lot of the reasons why the Bulldogs are doing so well. Craver has been finding the open man. And those open men have been sinking the shots, something that hasn't been going well for the Cougars. Cougars, I feel like, have been getting looks in the paint, been touching the paint. Just haven't been getting the shots from those touches. This is going to be Schneider. He's resetting the play to Gill. Gill by the free throw line. Stops his dribble and is repelled back out to Schneider. Schneider going to be doing a similar dance. He's got a long two. That's going to go off the rim. Vondre Chase with the rebound. That rebound differential, huge for the Bulldogs. One of the reasons they win games is they out-rebound their opponents more often than not, as it's a simple finger roll for Matt Solomon along the baseline. Put him up even bigger, 26-50, as we're under 15 minutes to play. Jay Gill with a long three. There we go. That's what it's supposed to look like. It's a little bit of a defensive lapse by the Dogs, gives them a clear look. Have not had many of those tonight, have the Cougars. Vondre Chase in the front court. Loses his dribble, looks for some help. Finds Amari Stroud, who finds Noah Holland. Holland with the physical play, puts it up off the rim. And this one, rebounded by Logan Knuckles. But they're going to say there's a push, and that's going to give possession back to the Bulldogs. They're going to say that's a jump, excuse me. Looked like he gave a push. Instead, it's just a thumbs up back to the bench. Noah Holland by the free throw line. No, Amari Stroud. Stroud takes a step, fires it, going to get the two shots on the line. You talk about, and the fouls on Logan Knuckles, talk about how hard it is to defend these Bulldogs. What's going on in the post? That's a good way to look at basketball. Who do you have down low? Well, there you just saw Holland pivot out for Stroud. And that goes back and forth. That's what makes this system work so well when they have the big guys down there. As Stroud has the first one go off the front of the rim and back out. Now entering for the Bulldogs, Aaron Moore for Noah Holland. Sean Kelly also going to enter for Vondre Chase. Stroud still on the line, shooting his second. He missed the first. This one good. We have an additional substitution. Bryce Craver re-entering, this time for Matt Solomon. Jay Gill in the backcourt, going to get to Darrell Brooks. The full court pressure really been effective for the Dogs, not giving the Cougars any chance to really get a sense of what's going on. Here's the double team. This trap is sprung, but he gets it out. Sadu had that ball, got it back to Gill. Gill to Brooks. Brooks driving the post, puts one up off the glass into the hands of Bryce Craver. Here comes Amari Stroud the other way, 2-on-1. Stroud, up, down, dunk! Feels the steal and heads back the other way. Amari Stroud with another highlight reel score for the Dogs. Jay Gill on the wing. He's going to drive the lane, has the room just under the free throw line, puts it up. That's a nice little two for him. Back and forth now, the pace picking up between these two teams. Finish line still away from in sight, though, as we're 13:30 left to go. Bulldogs lead 53-31. Amari Stroud pushes up on the post, can't quite get it to go, gets his own rebound, and then gets the foul. This one's going to be on Logan Knuckles, his second personal, third team. So you look at what's going on with Logan Knuckles, the Tascadero native. Went to Tascadero High School, really more of a rebounder than he is a scorer, and he's been having troubles in the paint tonight. As Amari Stroud not able to get his first one to go. So far it's been worth it. Magna entering in for Schneider. It's Stroud back at the line trying to get his second one to go. This one will sink. Now with the ball, it's Sadu. Sadu to Brooks. Brooks to Gill. They haven't had a chance to collect themselves. Very aggressive defense by the Dogs. As Gill thinks he has a chance here. He loses his dribble, though, and has to reset. He's going to go Magna over to Sadu. Brooks in the corner, guarded by Nico Thomas. Brooks gets a good run on it. Then a nice little layup in the post. Got past Nico Thomas, something we haven't seen much. It's going to be Stroud over to Craver. Craver setting the play. And you look at the difference between these front courts. Look at how much time Craver has to set up. The pressure difference is enormous, as this is a turnover. Nico Thomas lost it to Amagna. And it's going to be Brooks straight to the paint and blocked by Bryce Craver. Gill handles it over to Sadhu. Sadhu puts it up for three. Off the rim. Craver gets it. Deep pass and off the hands of Sadhu. A little bit of a risky pass. He was looking for Aaron Moore. It's to be Brooks. Tosses it out of bounds, looking for Knuckles, and this is going to be a turnover the other way. So now entering the game, Vondre Chase and Matt Solomon going to take off Nico Thomas and one other, as there's 6 on the floor right now. And it's going to be Amari Stroud, the other one coming out. Stroud going to go get a little rest. I mean, he's been doing quite well this game. Has a highlight reel filled. Might just call it. You know, come back for one more tour, but I'd be happy with him with the way I've played tonight. This will be Chase over to Craver with the blind throw to Solomon off the rim. So dangerous, though. Going to be Kelly back to the Vondre Chase. Chase, Craver. Craver dishes it to Solomon. Solomon takes that second. Could have put it up, did not. And he finds Kelly down at the bottom of the key. Kelly puts it up for the easy dribble and shoot. Another two. 56-33 as the Dogs trying to slow down that tempo a little bit. Good long possession for Hancock. Really starting to put the stranglehold on this game. Gill going to drive the lane. Nice little crossover. Keeps control. Gets it to Brooks. And there's going to be a foul reported here. Going to be on Bryce Craver, his second. Dogs lead by 23 right now. This is a situation that the Cougars have been in before. They dig themselves out of holes quite well, though. Far from being over. It's going to be Gill faking the put up and then passing it off. Going to be a kick ball. Ball's going to be put along the baseline. Shot clock resets to 20. Sadhu with the inbound. He's going to have Brooks in the far side corner, but he's going to instead go to Gill near half court. Gill staring down Bryce Craver. It's been a matchup all night. Trap is sprung. Logan Knuckles alone in the bottom of the post. And that's going to be good for 2. Bryce Craver taking it the other way. Finds Vondre Chase. Moving the ball well with some chest passes along the top of the arch. Now the holdup. Looking for the play. Trying to make sure that they're not risking anything. Want to keep the pace of this game nice and controlled. He finds Craver dribbling near the free throw line. And Solomon gets the ball back. Clock down to 4. 3, 2. Here's Vondre Chase. Shot clock expires before he can get that one off. One pass too many, and it's going to be Cougar ball. I think the team in general has to be pretty happy with a full shot clock being taken off the board, though, as it's quite the lead that they have amassed here as Noah Holland re-entering in place of Aaron Moore. Holland's had a pretty good night for himself. His ball goes up. Logan Knuckles can't bring it in. Gill puts it up for 3 off the front of the rim and out, as it looks like Knuckles ended up on the ground there. Want to have it for safety is going to be Holland coming in second personal here early. Noah Holland, we talked about it. He's got 8 points, 8 rebounds, and now 2 personal fouls. And you can get that kind of production from Noah Holland. You know you're having a good game because Holland, again, he doesn't always have his game written in the stat line. He's a big physical player that doesn't allow people to drive on him. So he's not always in the position to have points or rebounds. It's going to be Brooks driving on the far side of the key, puts up a prayer, and it's going to come back in the hands of Vondre Chase. Matt Solomon in the corner, going to head towards the key, put it up. Nice little floating jumper that's going to sink. Solomon getting another big set of points. He's now up over 20. 21 points for the CSU Northridge play. Originally from Newberry Park High School, as Noah Holland gets the steal. Dishes it off to Solomon, who finds Chase. Chase puts it up off the rim, and it's going to be, instead, Amagna drawing a charge from Vondre Chase. And of course, the coaching staff's going to argue that because you got it, but that's a rough one. Amari Stroud and Nico Thomas now entering for Bryce Craver and Noah Holland. And there's going to be a timeout by Cuesta. Take a quick moment to thank our sponsors before we take a break ourselves. Community Bank of Santa Maria, the home of Santa Maria style banking. Thank you for making athletics at Hancock College possible. You're watching Bulldog basketball on athletics.hancockcollege.edu. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Bulldog Basketball and Athletics at HancockCollege.edu. I'm Stephen Hodges, and this has been a big game for the Dogs. You talk about rivalry matchups and really trying to keep momentum going after a big game on Saturday where they beat Oxnard 100-78. They find themselves in the driver's seat of this one, 58-35 right now for Hancock, playing with that confidence that I said was so important to their game. They have this swagger about them when they play well, and it has been on display the last few games. As it's going to be Cuesta taking the ball across half court. Their struggle tonight has been shooting. And when they've been getting those shots, they've often been out-rebounded by the Dogs. So it's that whole holistic solution. If the shots went, you wouldn't have to worry about rebounding. But if they got the rebounds, maybe the shooting percentage wouldn't be that big of an issue because they'd be getting more chances. It's going to be Isaac Puz getting it over to Magna. Magna in and out of the hands of Logan Knuckles, and there's no question about that one. Bulldog ball as it went off the chest to big number 44. Amari Stroud going to be inbounding to Vondre Chase here. Hancock looking a little tired. They've been playing hard, getting those successful, but they got to finish this one out. Still 9 minutes left to play. This is going to be Vondre Chase crossing over half court where he meets Jay Gill. Jay Gill is not able to repel him as it's going to be Stroud pushing his way into the key, and then off the back of the rim, it's going to be Jay Gill picking up that defensive rebound. Magna is going to find Sadhu. Sadhu goes up for the dunk. And they're going to say contact on the windmill. Some Don Quixote action for sure. And going to be number 11, Sean Kelly with the foul. Second foul of the game for him. Sixth for the Bulldogs in the second half. On the line to shoot two, it's going to be Sadhu. Sadhu shooting 70.6% coming into this game from the free throw line. So expect some points here. First one goes. Odds that he missed both, only 9%. As it's going to be Bryce Craver re-entering in place of Vondre Chase. Stu on to shoot the second one. He made the first. This one in and out of the rim, so good shot. Again, just millimeters off. It's not like Quest has been shooting the ball terribly, but statistically it looks like that. Nico Thomas almost lost the handle, but got a good pass off of it. He rolled it over to Sean Kelly, who's going to drive the lane and draw a foul. Going to be Logan Knuckles. He's got only his first somehow. I feel like he's been a little bit more involved in the foul game today, but not the case there. Yeah, no, that's his third. There we go. That's more accurate. As going to be Sean Kelly putting up his first. This one around the rim and out. Kelly been shooting near 50%. He's only at 48 on the season. This one goes out. Gonna have his second shot here with 8:29 left. Bulldogs lead 58-36. This one sinks. Gonna be Magna leading this charge with Isaac Puz and Jay Gill. As Gill has that little crossover. He's a big fan of that crossover move. Even if it's not going to get him a lot of leverage, I think he does it just to keep people on edge. So when he busts it out, he knows it'll work. As it's going to be a push by Amagna that's not going to go. Rebounded by Sean Kelly over to Bryce Craver. Craver near the top of the three-point line gets it to Stroud. And Craver, with a lot of room, gets it to Solomon. Solomon guarded closely by Isaac Puz. So not going to get that clear look for the three-pointer that he's been getting throughout this game. Now entering for the Cougars, number 32, Moritz Schneider. He's been in and out of the lineup here tonight. Hasn't had a lot to show for it so far. He's only got 4 points and 2 rebounds so far with the minutes he's been given. Bryce Craver from the free throw line. Off the rim into Logan Knuckles, the Greyhound, picking that one up. Sadu, right by that Hancock logo. He's looking to start there and go anywhere. He's going to find number 5 down at the bottom there. It's Puz. And it's Knuckles off the rim. First hands on it were a Bulldog, but they're going to say it went off the foot of Sadu and back into Bulldog possession. As it's going to be Amari Stroud starting on that L there. Yeah, that was a... You can inbound from just about anywhere when you have that free shot, but you got to start from behind the line. Amari Stroud, little too eager on that one, and Tyson and I going to be arguing this call as the coaches do, but that is a solid couple steps. So Hancock will take a timeout. So will we. And before we do, we'll take a quick little thank you to our sponsors, California Electric Supply. Thank you for making athletics at Hancock College possible. It's such a joy that you guys support us so we can have fun with this. You're watching Bulldog Basketball. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Bulldog Basketball and Athletics at HancockCollege.edu. I'm Stephen Hodges. Welcome to the last little tidbit of this men's basketball game between the Cougars and the Bulldogs. Of course, as I've said, a long-time rivalry across most sports, but obviously not football. Cuesta does not have a football team, so you see a lot of those SLO County players come down here to play their games, and it kind of generates an interesting relationship between Cuesta and Hancock, because there's some things that they just don't want to compete in. And in some cases like tonight, it comes down to shooting contests too, as well as football. So Cuesta looking to get back into that shooting contest here, as it's going to be Logan Knuckles beyond the arc, somewhere you do not find big men. Danger territory for them, as it's going to be Gill. Gill getting around Stroud, driving the lane, gets it ball up. It's going to wrap around and sink. They're going to count that. I believe this is going to be assessed against Amari Stroud, big number 5, the highlight maker for the Bulldogs tonight, as he's had several dunks, several big pushes. I mean, it's been fantastic between his dunks and Solomon's long-range bombs. I mean, it's been a fantastic contest to watch. Jay Gill's on the line for and 1. Off the back, off the front, off the back, off the front, and into the hands of Amari Stroud. He's going to give it to Bryce Craver. Craver with a crossover into the lane, floats that one up. And there's going to be a foul on the floor. This one will be on Logan Knuckles. Oh, no, they're going to put it on Sadu. Sadu getting into some foul trouble. Both him and Knuckles now have 3 apiece. That is going to be Knuckles who'd at least be able to match his jersey there with his 4th foul. He's only on 3, though. So it's going to be Nico Thomas going around the top, drifting and finding Bryce Craver, who's going to be one-on-one with Jay Gill again and end up passing that one off. And this one's intended for Sean Kelly, but a little too far by Stroud, and it's out of bounds along the baseline. Schneider going to be inbounding it to Gill. Cougars, again, looking for some free range, and they're not finding it. Full court press, that's even getting like a 3-quarter press now. It has been too much. They are very stressed out. And Gill finding a lane but loses his handle. They're going to say it's off his leg, and they're signaling initially for the dogs, and now there's going to be a discussion. Gill claiming it's off a hand, and he'll win that argument. Possession, Cuesta. Andre Chase and Noah Holland re-entering for the dogs. And that will send Nico Thomas and Amari Stroud back to the restful lands of the bench. As to do, gets it in to Gill. Schneider looking around. He's going to give it to Puz. Puz can be a long-range threat when he needs to be. Hasn't pulled it far. Oh, here we go. And that one will sink, as promised. Long-range shot by Isaac Puz. That one will go in. Makes it 41-39. Dogs still in front. As Craver going to find that's Sean Kelly near the free throw line. And it's Noah Holland doing a little spinorama and underneath the post. Can't get the shot to fall, and Sadu's going to pick up the rebound. Gill the other way. Gets it to Puz. Puz from that same spot he made it a second ago. This one doesn't do that. And it will be out of bounds and going the other way for the dogs. Did not catch the rim on the way down or the net. So, you got to admire the confidence pulling up from that same spot. He had the shooting solution, just didn't come off cleanly. So this is going to be Craver trying to eat some of this clock away. He's going to find Sean Kelly at the top of the key. Kelly's going to drive near the free throw line, but end up being repelled. And now it's going to be Craver resetting the play, calling something new with 10 seconds on the clock. 9-8. It's counting down. Solomon's got it in his hands. He pulls it up for a long two off the front of the rim. And a shoulder to the head of Solomon, and he is a little bit beaten. It's going to be Gill the other way. Schneider gets it back to Sadu. Gill on the wing. Going to reset it to Sadu, who finds Knuckles in the center. Knuckles puts it up from the post and sinks it. Well above an average night for him. As he's been kind of called on to deal with the big men of Hancock, but Hancock's big men are bigger. Matt Solomon with the range and some room. Jay Gill caught in the horns of the defense and the blocks that have been set up. And then Solomon has a little bit too much of a pep in his step, loses the dribble and travels. Be possession Cougars as Nico Thomas enters in substitution of Matt Solomon. Timeout on the floor, full timeout for the Bulldogs according to Coach Takema. Take a quick moment to thank our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Cool Hand Lukes and Home Motors of Chevrolet of Santa Maria, thank you for sponsoring Hancock Athletics. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Bulldog Basketball on athletics.hancockcollege.edu. My name's Stephen Hodges, and if you're just joining us, the score is 59-43. Bulldogs in front with just under 5 minutes left to play. Cuesta really having issues getting the shots to fall tonight, and part of that I think was schematic, part of it was just bad luck. I mean, there's no one thing you could point at tonight for Cuesta that you can say this is what went wrong, and that's what makes it a little bit harder for Coach Rusty Blair. Jay Gill going to dribble the entire baseline before resetting it to Schneider. Schneider going to find Gill in the corner. Gill pulls it up and off the back of the rim. And then Logan Knuckles with a big rebound. Going to keep the possession alive for Isaac Puz, but Gill injured on the play from the looks of it, holding that ankle. So we'll give him a little bit of time to figure that out as Cheo, the head trainer for the Bulldogs, is going to take a chance to take a look at him. So we'll be right back. You're watching Athletics on athletics.hancockcollege.edu. And welcome back as Jay Gill is helped off the floor. Despite not putting up a lot of points tonight, he's had a pretty good showing. 13 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and he's been the point guard dictating action for the Cougars tonight. He's an amazing player for their team, and we hope that he's all right as he's being looked at there by Cheo Munoz, the head trainer for Hancock College. He's been here quite a while, very knowledgeable and strong at his job. I mean, when I first started working here, Cheo was the trainer still, and got known pretty well when I was working with the basketball team. It's Brooks putting up a brick, and that one's rebounded by Amari Stroud. Bryce Craver crossing half court with the help of Stroud. Those two play off of each other very well. You've got the small craftiness of Craver that can find ways to make plays happen, and Stroud, that's just an amazing finisher as he gives it to Chase. And so he's a finisher, and there he sets up a great assist to Evandre Chase off the backboard and in on a beautiful drive by Evandre. This one's a long three for Maurice Schneider. Schneider making that one sink effortlessly. And we talk about water finding its level statistically. You know, they had some serious issues making those balls sink earlier in this game, but now that it matters, you know, it's kind of at a distance, and you're getting that average back. And that foul is being signaled on Brooks, his first personal 16th foul for the Cougars. Look at where the three-point shooting is for the Cougars right now. Went from 16% up to 20.7%, 6 to 29 in this game. They put up almost 33-point attempts, yet to make 10. Bryce Craver looking for Amari Stroud off the finger of Stroud, and that looks like it jammed up pretty strongly there. That just took a weird bounce on him, and I don't think he expected to carry him and just caught his fingertip. That's never fun. It's going to be Brooks carrying it across half court for the Cougars. He's going to find Sadu. Over to Puz. Puz, again, the long-range shooter for these Cougars. He's going to find Logan Knuckles. And there's a whistle there. I thought it was off the dribble because Knuckles lost that post, but no. It's going to be a push on Sean Kelly. Third personal foul for Sean Kelly, so he's starting to get a look that, well, you know, 2 minutes left. Can I get 2 more fouls? It's challenge accepted as they're going to bring Matt Solomon in to pull out him. As a 1-and-1, Logan Knuckles put it up. Stroud pulled it down. Then Knuckles forces the jump ball. In comes Matt Solomon. This is actually for Nico Thomas coming on it. Sadu along the baseline. It'll be Knuckles. Knuckles getting it over to Puz. Puz to Brooks. Brooks looking to drive, but turned away by Chase. So he's going to reset to Sadu. Now it's Schneider. Schneider driving the lane, loses the dribble as Chase got a hand in. Chase will come away with the steal. 61-46 as we get closer to 2 minutes. 2:20 on the clock. Andre Chase staring down Isaac Puz. Puz trying to avoid allowing any room as this defense for Cuesta has gotten much more aggressive as the minutes have ticked off here in the second half. That room that the Bulldogs were abusing before, no longer as ample. And it's going to be Matt Solomon with the catch-and shot, and another one. The quick shot of Matt Solomon has been punishing for the Bulldogs tonight, especially with Bryce Craver's beautiful passes. Just a crisp pass to the chest, caught, shot, time and time again. It's to do. Going to be moving around, but a whistle's going to bring everything to a stop. Andre Chase taking another foul here, his fourth. Talked about that, getting close to disqualification is Colin Ostrike going to be coming in, as well as Rajon Bellew. Colin Ostrike, the Lompoc native from the city of Murals, going to be subbing in for Mari Stroud, and Rajon Bellew coming in for Vondre Chase. Looks like Aaron Moore is waiting his chance to come on in. And it's going to be a full timeout Hancock. So we'll take it with them here in just a moment after we thank our sponsors, Oxford Suites. Thank you for making athletics at Hancock College possible. We'll be right back. You're watching basketball on athletics.hancockcollege.edu. Welcome back to Bulldog Basketball on athletics.hancockcollege.edu. Want a good stat for this game? Let's take a look at this rebound margin. Bulldogs, 1 off of 50, 49 rebounds. Cuesta, 27. Quite a difference there, as the Bulldogs are almost doubled up on rebounds compared to the Cougars. As it's going to be Kadon Sadu taking these free throws for Cuesta. First one goes. We talked about Cuesta's location a little bit earlier in the broadcast. If you're not familiar with the geography of the Central Coast, you have to go quite a ways out there. It's closer to Morro Bay than it is San Luis Obispo. You have to go by both the men's colony and Camp San Luis, a National Guard post that used to be used for the U.S. Army, just to get out to Cuesta from downtown Slow. So you talk about borders of San Luis Obispo, usually the Mission, pretty good thing. And it's Aaron Moore in the corner, driving towards the post. He's going to find Colin Ostrike. Ostrike driving up, he's blocked. He turns it around, gives it back to Aaron Moore. This is going to go to Matt Solomon. Solomon, with no time left on the clock, off the front of the rim. Ostrike has a chance, going to turn it over. And this is going to be Cougar ball as the ball rolls out of bounds along the baseline. In comes Nico Thomas for Colin Ostrike. Ostrike staying on the near side of the bench, so expect to see him come back in. Like I said, from the city of Murals, that is Lompoc, California. Lompoc Brave himself did not go to Cabrillo. Sadu puts that one up for 3, and that one's going to count. And we're going to have an official stoppage. Not sure what that was about, but we're going to have a running baseline there by Nico Thomas. Going to find Rajon Bellew to Craver. Solomon with room. Going to just take his time with it. 53 seconds left. No need to rush anything with 21 seconds on the shot clock. And Cuesta swarming him. Would have liked to see some of this fire earlier in the game, not when it's about a 13-point difference with less than a minute left. Matt Solomon drives the lane, puts it up, lays it in, spends that one back out to a 15-point margin. So the ball is going to roll to Sadu. 32 seconds left. He's going to need to have some distance on this shot, and it's going to need to go in. He takes it from the top of the key, but this is going to go right into the hands of Bryce Craver. And with the shot clocks turned off, that might do it. Bryce crosses half court and make sure he doesn't get that 10-second infraction. And he's just going to watch this one close out. So we'll take a quick couple seconds here, and then I'll have some post-game stats for you once they are made official. Hancock taking this one, 66-51. So little post-game summary for you. Look at what the difference was between these two teams A lot of it came down to shooting. It wasn't as bad of a disparity in the second half, but this game was far and away mostly done in the second half. There's a 20-point difference going into the back half of action. But at the end of the game, Cuesta shooting 19 of 65. Want to do the percentage? I'll do it for you. 29.2%. About half of those coming from beyond three-point range. They were only 7 of 31 from that distance. Unable to get those points to sink, gave the Bulldogs a chance to take a hold of the rebound margin where they pushed it. 51-28 was the final rebound margin there, giving Hancock a huge advantage in this game. Let's take a look at the individual leaders before we put a nice bow on this one. For Cuesta, the leaders were Jay Gill, who went out with an ankle injury late in the second half. He ended up having 15 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Next up for the Cougars, Kanan Sidhu. He ended with 12 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. Only other real notes, Brooks, who normally very strong, very good shooter, leader on this team. He only shot 2 of 14, ended with 5 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. For the Bulldogs, a lot more good news than there is bad. Matt Solomon led the way with points as far as that goes. 26 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Fantastic from three-point range, 6 of 10 from outside the arc. Amari Stroud, 21 points, 11 rebounds, good for a double-double, 1 assist. Noah Holland, 8 points, 8 rebounds. He ended up not building on that. He sat on it for quite a while. Bryce Craver had a great game for himself. Only 2 points, but 12 rebounds and 7 assists. He fed Matt Solomon all day. If you were to take Solomon's points that were assisted by Bryce Craver and give them to Bryce, he easily would have been in that double-double territory as well. We're going to take a short break, but we hope you don't go anywhere as we're going to be restarting this stream for women's action as the Hall of Fame coach, Carrie Norelli, brings his Bulldogs here to Joe White Memorial Gymnasium for their appearance here against their rivals, also the Cuesta Cougars. So we hope you sit tight. We'll be right back. You're watching Bulldog basketball on athletics.hancockcollege.edu.